In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the Sprite is described as the tiny fey creatures that appear elven, but with the wings of insects such as dragonflies. They're the warrior relatives of pixies, fierce defenders of good-aligned places and beings across the Feywild, as well as the material plane. In D&D, the term Sprite actually refers to two separate things: the warrior pixies themselves, and the general race from which those warriors are derived, as they all come from the same subspecies of Fey. They're typically flighty and carefree like pixies, but where evil is concerned, they would suddenly become very serious to the point of zealotry in upholding morally good codes and laws. They make their homes in forests, glens, and clearings when in the material plane, and while they are not specifically guardians of nature, they are friends with ones such as treants, wood elves, and dryads. While they are good-natured, they're also potent brewers of poisons and toxins, and they'll use them in their pursuit of the destruction of evil. The Sprite has an AC of 15 and 2 HP, with a walk speed of 10 and a fly speed of 40. They have decent stats in training and perception and stealth, as well as the ability to speak Common, Elvish, and Sylvan. In combat, they can use their longsword, which deals a flat 1 damage, or their shortbow, which also deals 1 damage but causes a DC 10 con save that, if failed, renders the target poisoned or even unconscious. They can also use the action Heart Sight, in which when they touch a creature, they can read its emotional state and its alignment. Finally, they can use their action to turn invisible as if concentrating on the spell of the same name. As a DM, I would usually use the Sprites as allies to a party instead of enemies, as they deal next to no damage and only fight evil creatures. However, if you want them to be in a fight, I would actually recommend using a swarm mechanic, perhaps having Sprites attacking as a single entity, dealing flat damage as appropriate to the size of the swarm. I would have this swarm use its attack or attacks, your choice, to use the shortbow, as it deals the same level of damage but has the potential to CC party members. As an ally, however, the Sprite makes a great detector of good and evil, as well as a great target for the bad guy of your campaign to spur the party into action. In Mythology, the Sprites are a subtype of Fey creatures. Their name comes from the Latin spiritus, meaning spirit, and in many of the Celtic tales which feature them prominently, they're called the Spriggan. In Western European folklore, the term Sprite specifically refers to elves and fairies of the Fae, usually described as tiny humanoid creatures with insect features like butterfly or dragon wings. Other tales sometimes attribute Sprites to elements such as air or water, but while these are referred to in some cases as Sprites or Fae in general, they're usually given their own names such as elemental, nymph, and so on. Generally, the Sprites were said to be the warrior versions of the pixies, and fought in the armies of the fairy king or queen, depending on the location of the tale. In contemporary tales, the term Sprite is often used interchangeably with fairy, pixie, and other types of Fae, but the original term was a specific creature or race of the Fae realms. In comparing the monster to the myth, we find that the Sprite of D&D is almost perfectly copied over from the original Western European myth. Both are warrior spirits, small in stature, appearing as humanoids with insect wings, cousins or relatives to the pixies and elves, and the standing army of the fairy folk. Despite the term becoming amalgamated with other Fae creatures in the modern era, the Sprite is a creature all on its own, accurately depicted in D&D. If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like and comment below, and consider subscribing to the channel. You can also join the Patreon for $1 a month to access videos days before they're posted here, as well as other exclusive stuff like short stories, videos, and more.